Hello, everybody. I'm Ron, CEO and co-founder of Airobotics. And I'd like to start by asking you to imagine the factory of the future. So imagine a big factory where you might be the head of security for a big power plant. And instead of using CCTV cameras or sending one of your team members on a patrol, a drone does this for you automatically. Now, imagine a big chemical factory or a refinery, and you need to inspect a big cooling tower. But instead of the dangerous and very lengthy process of actually sending people up and looking at the object, a drone does this for you automatically. Third example, a mine. You want to measure a volumetric pile or just get the inventory out. But instead of using surveyors, doing manual processes and going around the pile to measure it, a drone can do this for you automatically, sending the data back to you without you moving from your chair. Imagine an emergency incident at a chemical factory. You need to know what's going on as soon as possible so you can properly respond. But again, instead of sending personnel to assess the situation, a drone can do this for you completely automatically. So as you probably guessed by now, I came here to talk to you about automated drones, especially in industrial facilities. That's why we are also operating in Australia. It's a great country to do that. But before we talk about the future, a couple of words about the past so I can get you to think that I actually know what I'm talking about. I was the first licensed commercial UAV pilot in Israel. I was fortunate enough to do that. Shortly after, I started a company called BladeWorks, which was the first drone service provider in Israel and one of the first companies in the world to actually offer services with drones. So for a long while, what we did, we ran a random multitude of applications with different clients, ranging from cinematography, mapping, and inspection with drones. And that's basically where I earned my stripes as a drone pilot. I have over 1,500 hours of drone flight hours up until now, so that's basically where I learned my skill. But as drone operators, we were seldom called into industrial facilities to give services with our drones. And we thought that there was a lot of potential, specifically for those facilities. But as it turned out, they never called us back, and this never lasted. And we started asking why. We thought there was a lot of potential for these aircrafts, but this wasn't happening in reality. And as we started to look into the reasons, the first thing that came to mind is, well, actually, this technology stemmed from the hobby vector. That's where it started from toys. And that's where most of us got encountered with our first drones, if you saw them flying around. But this is actually a toy and not a tool. So to work in these harsh environments, that's not enough. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is the operator, the person flying the drone. And why is that a problem? Well, first off, it's very expensive. It might make sense for you to fly a drone in your commercial if you're a producer and pay a couple of thousands of dollars for someone to come in and do it. But it doesn't really make sense if you want to run security over your facility every day. It's not very efficient. Second reason is precision. A good drone pilot can fly the perfect mission once or twice, but obviously a machine or a computer can do that all the time. And third is availability or being on demand. So if there's, again, if we imagine an emergency situation in a facility, a fire or something, even if you have your own drone pilot, you can't get to that situation where you understand what's going on fast enough. So to sum that up, there's basically two ways you can run drones if you're in a facility like the ones we were talking about, like mines or seaports or refineries. First way is drone as a service, where a company comes in and gives you the service. That's what we used to do. But again, that's very expensive and not cost efficient. And the second is operating your own drone fleet, which a lot of companies do today. But again, very expensive, requires regulation, training, buying aircraft. So the model just does not work. That's why we haven't seen it take off. So after understanding that, we decided this is exactly the market we want to focus on. So we wanted to create a system that is completely self-sufficient, completely automatic, permanently on the site, and hopefully will become the most efficient tool on premises. To do that, we started Airobotics 2 years ago. Our basic idea, our basic vision was very simple: a drone in a box situated in a facility where whenever you need it, it can fly in and out of the box and give you what you need. Very simple idea, but very, very hard to execute on. So to do that, we hired 100 very talented people in Israel, which is probably the best place in the world to take on such an endeavor. A lot of ex-aerospace industry experts in different facets of engineering. And we've raised $30 million to take on this very big challenge. But one thing is the platform and the technology, which we understood was key to get this done. Another thing is to understand where the value is. And that was very important to us. We wanted to understand where this tool, where this platform would be most efficient and most valuable. So to do this, we engaged with two companies in Israel, Intel and ICL. Intel has one of the most efficient fabrication facilities in the world situated in Kiryat Gat in Israel. And ICL is the biggest mining company in Israel. We talked to them about our idea. They were excited about it, and they became our design partners. So at some point, we just started flying drones all the time, manually in their facilities, trying to map out which would be the most valuable applications for them as clients. After doing that for a couple of months, we brought our first beta into their facilities. That was about a year ago. And we started flying missions completely automatically. This was the first time it was done ever in the world. Drones flying in and out of a box completely by themselves. And we learned a lot from it. But two main takeaways that we had. First off, a drone uses a battery. So we had to charge it. So it took about an hour and a half between flights to charge the battery, and that was not good enough because if you need the drone on demand to look at something that's happening right now, that's not good enough. So we needed to swap batteries. And the second was swapping sensors. And what we realized is that the whole idea for a drone to fly somewhere, if it's a professional mission, not as a hobby or a toy, is to carry a specific sensor to a specific location. We understood that if we could replace the sensors that the drone is actually carrying, the aggregated value of the platform would be much, much, much higher. And that's what we wanted to do. So transitioning from our beta system to our MVP, we did just that. We integrated a robotic arm into our airbase where the drone is kept between flights. And now this robotic arm can replace the batteries and can swap the sensors, giving us a much bigger array for future applications and current applications. So what do we end up with? We have a ruggedized box that can send the drone in and out of missions, withstand the hard conditions of these facilities. We have a drone that flies itself, very durable. We worked a lot on transitioning the technology from toy to tool to multi-tool. And we can harvest a lot of data with different sensors. But the creme de la creme is being able to act on that data. Nobody cares that you can fly a drone, although it's very cool. They want to get the actual insights. So what we're doing is we're transforming the various distinct data types collected by our tool into actionable, insightful information that is later transferred into the client, and they can act on it, whether it's for safety or operational reasons. So when we started the talk, I asked you to imagine 10 years from now, but actually 10 years from now is today. I'd like to show you a video of our current test facility and what we're doing right now. So we just started a subsidiary company in Australia. This is our first target market. We started marketing this device about a month ago. We already have our first deal here in Australia. We're very excited towards it. We hope we'll continue that way. Thank you very much for your attention.